Vayihili Yeshua Mina Meitza Karatiyam Anani Vamerchavia Mina Meitza Karatiyam Anani Vamerchavia Ozi Vizimrat Yam Vayihili Yeshua Ozi Vizimrat Yam Vayihili Yeshua. Good morning, Boker Tov. It is like the weirdest weather day outside. I'm not really sure what it is. It's not hot. It's not cold. It's muggy. It's a little rainy. It's gross. The bus was late. All the regular things. The girls started camp today. Ellis had a, I don't know, white out day. Wear white. So I don't think that this is really a good idea since kids are so messy and we're wearing white. I'm like, exactly why I sent you in a Hanes t-shirt and shorts that are on their last leg that are white. And he said, okay, that was a good idea, but why did you put these good shoes on me? Well, you wanted all white. That's all we have. So he was laughing already this morning, thinking how ridiculous it was that we're on a rainy day, but on any day that kids, kindergarten through third grade, should be wearing all white. Couldn't agree with you more, buddy, and I'm sure you're going to get messy, but whatever it is, there we are. And so we are here. Tuesday's not my regular teaching day, so we have a lot to unpack, and it's a good thing because this week's Parsha is a two-part, one of those double portions. So there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to learn. There's a lot to lift up. And so we identify the Parsha, which is Chukat and Balak. And so there's themes that go on, talking donkeys and mysterious rituals and blessings from prophets and fear and transformation, and one of the most beautiful verses in our liturgy or tradition. So we start obviously with day one, but to get an idea of what these teachings will be this week is Moses and the rock, Balaam's donkey, Matovu, that is the piece of liturgy, and curse into blessing. So compassion, humility, good eyes, and hope. So we take apart to the first piece is the rock, the staff, and the burden of leadership from the first part of the double portion, which is Chukat. So Rachamim, compassion, is something that we see throughout our tradition. One of the most difficult and puzzling moments in Torah occurs in this week's portion. The people are thirsty again, complaining to Moses and Aaron again, and God instructs Moses to take the staff, to speak to the rock before their eyes, and it shall give forth water. But instead of speaking to the rock, Moses strikes the rock with his staff, and he doesn't do it once, but he does it twice. And water comes pouring out. The people's needs are met. And yet God tells Moses and Aaron that they're not entering the promised land because you didn't follow the rules. It's like taking something away from your child because they didn't follow the rules. Most often, it doesn't work. For generations, rabbis and commentators have wrestled with this story. What exactly did Moses even do wrong? Was it that he struck the rock rather than spoke? Was it his anger? Was it his words? Was it his lack of trust? And the Torah leaves the answer somewhat unclear. Shocking. But perhaps there's another question that we should be asking, or we could be asking. What was Moses carrying in that moment? Immediately before the story, let's set the stage. Immediately before this story, we learn about the death of Miriam, his sister. Miriam, his protector. Miriam, the one that watched over him as a floating baby in the Nile. Miriam, who journeyed alongside him for 40 years through the wilderness. She dies. And the very next scene is this one. So no mourning period, no pause, no time to grieve, only another crisis, another complaint, another demand. And suddenly the story feels different. Perhaps Moses is not simply angry. Perhaps Moses is exhausted. Perhaps Moses is grieving. Perhaps Moses has simply reached the limit of what he can carry. And if it's true, then this becomes one of the most human stories in Torah. Because who among us has not had a moment where we have reacted rather than responded? Who among us has not spoken sharply because we're tired or we're over it, or impatient because we're overwhelmed, or less compassionate because we're carrying more than anyone else is realizing? We've all been there in different forms. The Torah does not excuse Moses, but perhaps it helps us understand him. Even the greatest leader of our tradition was still human. Even Moses had limits. Even Moses had moments when grief and fatigue affected how he showed up. And maybe there's an important lesson here for us. We often ask ourselves, why did I react that way? But perhaps we should also ask, what am I carrying? Because sometimes the issue isn't the moment itself. Sometimes the issue is what we've been carrying, and it's been too long, and it's been too much. Unspoken grief, stress, worry, responsibility, fear, fatigue, and eventually what we're carrying finds its way to how we act and how we speak. The Torah reminds us that compassion, rachamim, begins not only with others, but with ourselves. To acknowledge that we're human. You've heard it. Give yourself a little grace. It's the same as acknowledging that we're human, that we have limits, and that sometimes we need rest, to grieve, to ask for help, to put down what we've been carrying. Because if even Moses needed that, perhaps we do too. So, beloved friends, we ask ourselves, what are we carrying right now? And is it possible that what we're carrying is affecting how you're showing up in the world? And what would it look like maybe if we were a little bit more compassionate with ourselves? What would that look like? What are you carrying? Whatever it is that you're carrying, is it affecting how you show up in the world? And what if we just turned the table for a second and said, hey, wait a second. Let me have more compassion with myself. This Parsha, Chukat, reminds us that even our greatest leaders were human. They grew tired, they became frustrated, they carried grief, and still they continued the journey. May we be a little bit more gentle with one another, recognizing that we rarely know the full weight another person is carrying. May we be gentle with ourselves as well. For we too are human. We too carry burdens. And we too deserve compassion. For we are one human family, one heart of abundant love. We love you. We pray for healing of all of those that are struggling and suffering. Praying for Matt Granahan. But praying for all of those that we pray for every day. We hold them in our hearts. We hold the ones that we're praying for in our hearts. And we pray that we can find a place of compassion, a place of showing up the way that we need to show up in the world, to give ourselves a little grace, to say, hey, wait a second. We don't have to be perfect. We just need to do a little bit better in the world. And maybe we can't because we're holding the weight of the world. Let us find ourselves continuing to learn and to lift up tomorrow morning at 9:30. Thank you for joining me this morning, Rabbi, Bet, Jeneba, Suze, Rabbi Jay. If he's able to be on here, then we know that he's doing all right. He's not doing all right enough to be at the beach. Good thing it's not a beach day he's missing. But I don't know. It seems to me that he's healing better from a reverse shoulder replacement than he did from a shoulder repair. So that's pretty remarkable. For all of us, let us go from this place. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai. 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 O Ravinu Chai. Have a great day, everybody.